welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and another Sudoku puzzle today. So not talking about competitive strategies like yesterday. I'm just going to try and do a puzzle that's been recommended to us from our Discord server. This is by Jovial, and it's basically an arrow anti-knight puzzle. So I guess knights might have used arrows in the old days, but we'll look at that in a moment. First of all, arrow Sudoku, very relevant, as we have now taken the decision to make our next app an arrow Sudoku app. So we will continue to update all of the other apps until they have 100 puzzles within a year. That's kind of how they all work. A couple of those have already completed their 100, but the others are still ongoing, and they have quarterly updates normally now. So that's how they work. Again, when we get around to launching arrow Sudoku, and we've first got to commission a load of puzzles, write a load of puzzles, test a load of puzzles, hint a load of puzzles. So it's going to take a while, but when we get around to it, there'll be 40 launched initially, and then 3 more quarters of 20 each. So that's how it works. Don't expect them any quicker than quarterly, these updates, although I know a lot of people work through the puzzles and can't wait for more. So that's always great, of course. And the links for the existing apps are under the video in the description field. So also there is the link for this puzzle. Also there is the link for our Patreon site, where of course we have loads of extra content every month, and we're coming up to the beginning of February soon. So there will be it's a kind of triple header, I think. That's probably what we'll be presenting for February. Now, I do want to congratulate the people who finished Reverence Puzzle Hunt since the last time I read out names. It's slowed down to less than 2 a day now, entries coming in, but well done to those who have worked through it. Peter Somhorst, Matthew Brockwell, Sophie and Conrad, Hannah Sauter, Travis and Rachel, Rochelle R, and Misha and his mum Miyoko. Well done to all of those individuals and pairs who have got through that puzzle hunt. Whether or not in lockdown, at least it's something to do. So well done to you. Now, this puzzle, the rules are very straightforward for anybody who knows either anti-knight Sudoku, which is where this identical digit can't be a knight's move apart. So this digit here couldn't appear in any of these 8 cells, for instance. And arrow Sudoku, in which the number in the circle is the total of the numbers along the arrow. Normal Sudoku rules apply, and that's it. Do give it a go on the link under the video. It is highly recommended. So I'm looking forward to this, and I am going to start now. So let's get cracking. Yeah, there's a few arrows with some length, and there's this intriguing trident up here. What is this doing? Well, I mean, the absolute, it can't be 6 because there are 4 digits along some of the paths there. The same is true for this and this arrow. They must be 7, 8, or 9, because 3 digits must add up to at least 6. And then there's another 1. I have a feeling the possibilities are going to reduce dramatically because of the difficulty of repeating digits. Yes, okay, that's the way to look at this. There must be a repeated digit on this arrow, for instance, because it doesn't add up to 10, and 1, 2, 3, 4 does add up to 10. So it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not saying you can't have a 4 or a 5 in it. I'm just saying it can't have 4 different digits. Therefore, it has digits that are the same. Now, which 2 can be the same? And this gets very interesting with the knight's move. This one could be the same as this one, but it can't be the same as that one, which is in the same box, or that one, which is a knight's move away. This one sees all 3 others in the row or in the box. This one sees all 3 others in the row or by a knight's move. So there is a repeated digit on this arrow, and it has to be in those two cells. So I'm going to colour them. The same has got to be true. This is a symmetrically opposite arrow, diagonally symmetric, I suppose. But the same is absolutely true. This one sees all the other three, and this one sees all the other three. So the repeated digit has to be in the green cell. Now, can it even be a 2? If it was a 2, these would have to add up to at most 5. I suppose they could be 1, 3 and 1, 4. No, they couldn't be 1, 3 and 1, 4. Oh, that's very interesting. Right, look. These three cells see each other, and that's crucial. Right. Yeah, this is the right question. If these were all 2, and it's going to get worse if they're 3 or higher, but if they were all 2, these two cells would, let's assume that's a 9 for a moment, the maximum. These two cells would have to add up to 5, and they can't include a 2, so they must be 1 and 4. But the same is true of these two cells, because this total is 9, they're 1 and 4. And that cell can't be the same as either of those, 1 in the box, 1 on the knight's move. And therefore it's just not possible. Now, I'm going to put in the digits to explain this. And I've only tried it with 9 in the corner to start with, but it'll work exactly the same with 8. So if they were 2, yeah, sure, it looks fine for this arrow. You can have a 1-4 pair here. But here, you need a 1-4 pair again, because you've got 4 already. You need this to add up to 5. It can't include a 2. And yet, this can't be a 1 or a 4. So that wouldn't work. The same is true if this was 8 and this was a 1-3 pair. You've still got the same problem. They've still got to be 1-3 to make this 8. And that means that these cannot be 2. The same would apply if they were 3. This would now have to be 9. This would be a 1-2 pair. And again, you can't put a digit that'll make it work here. So these are not 2, 3 or anything higher. They are 1. Now, I don't know that this is 9 yet, although I strongly suspect that it is. Now, these two now have to add up to 7, which is a much bigger number. There's a lot more freedom, but still this is different. Yes, these two, well, it might be 7, it might be 6, it might be 5. But those two have to be different from that, even though these two are coming to the same total as the horizontal pair. So that has to be the same total as that. But this has to be a different digit. So, yeah, it's got to be 9, and these have to add up to 7. If they were 6 even, that's kind of the next maximum number. They'd have to be 2 and 4. But again, these would have to be 2 and 4. You need more freedom than that. So I don't know which way round they are, but I do know they add up to 7. That makes this corner 9, which was what I always suspected, but we've proved it now. Now, look. Oh, this maybe I should have seen this before. This cell sees all of these by knight's move or Sudoku. So it can't be 2, 3, 4 or 5. Does that... It can't be 7, because that would have to be 1. So it's 6. No. It could be 1. You can have repeated digits on the arrows. I hope I mentioned that at the beginning. If I didn't, it's in the rule set. This must be a 7 or a 2. That's right, I think. Can this be a 2? Yes, because it can see either of those cells fine. It can certainly be a 7, and because this can be a 1, there's no problem with this. So I think, unless I'm missing something with the knight's moves, that's as much as we can do here for now. Now, but let's use this, where do we get the repeats principle on the other arrows? What about this one? Yeah, look, this one sees all of the other 3 cells on the arrow. So does this one, in a much more obvious way. That we don't even need night moves for that. But the point is, they are not the repeats. These are the repeats on this arrow. Now, they obviously could be 1s. If they were 2s, if they were 2s, yeah, there's no way, I don't think, because of this total. If these were 2s, these would have to add up to 3, 4, or 5 without using a 2. And how are you going to do that when neither of them can be 1? You can't. And the same is true if these were 3s. In theory, that could be 2, 1, but neither of them can be 1. So these oranges are 1 again. 1 seems to always be the repeated digit. And it doesn't help us decide what this is at all, because these could be 2, 3. They could add up to 5, 6, or 7, basically. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Where's the repeated digit? Oh, this is a bit different. This is nice. That's not the repeated digit. That can see them all. So in the previous 2 arrows, the repeated digit was at the beginning and the end of the arrow. Here, it's not at the beginning, and it's not at the end, because that one, by a knight's move, can see that, and by regular Sudoku can see those. So here, the repeated digit is not at either end, it's the 2 in the middle. So another colour for those. It's not 1, is it? So it's 2 or 3. Ooh, where am I now? So it's 2 or 3. Would 3 work? Yes, in fact, we've got to have a 1 on the arrow, and we know exactly where it is now. It's got to be here. And then this can be 6, 1. If that was 3s, this is a 2. But if they're 2s, 2, 4, 5, it can be 3 or 4. And still make this okay. Okay, that's interesting. If they're 2s though, which I thought was far more likely because it gives 2 choices here. And this can't be 7 anymore, by the way. But if they're 2s, that's hard here, isn't it? Then this has to be a 3-4 pair. Oh, look, we've got a 1 here. Sorry, I did scanning across. That has to be a 6. So this is 2. So 2's not in there. 5's not on the ends of those arrows. There's a 5-2 combo in one of them. Oh, and that's very interesting. If this is 2 and this becomes 3, 4... there's a 3 or 4 here, so this now has to be 5-2. And where does the 2 go in this box? Look, if the blue cells are 2s, they're all not possible. And now you've got 2 there and 2 in this one, stopping those. My goodness, that is intricate. And all of that means that these blue ones cannot be 2 because you couldn't get a 2 into box 3. So they are actually 3s, which is not what I was expecting. Makes this a 2, makes this a 9. This isn't a 9 now. So we've got to have a 2 on this arrow to either get to 7 or 8. Yeah, this adds up to 5 or 6. 2 is there, and now we know this is the 3-4 pair, and this is the 5-2 pair, and we can fill them in. Oh, this is so clever. No, this is, yes. This can't be 5 now because of that. Oh, it never could be. 1, 3, 4, can't do my maths. It's 3 or 4. We know it's not 3, so it's 4. And this is 8. Good grief, what a wicked puzzle. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, how do we make further progress? We've got 2s there, so 2s in one of those. Now, we don't have any more 4-cell arrows to work on. They've been fun, but that fun is over. We have this, and this actually. This can't be a 6 because of the knight's move, so it's 7, 8 or 9, and it's picking up 3 cells in the same box, as is this one. Probably still can be 6. Can't be 8 now. We don't know much about limit. Oh, look, 1s are limited to those 2 cells. 2s up here. Oh, look, by knight's move, they rule out those, so we can place 2 on the arrow. Unsurprisingly, that puts 2 in one of these 2. So that's a 1-2 pair. 9 can't be in those cells or on the arrow for fairly obvious reasons. You can work that one out. Doesn't really do anything. 1-2 pair. Now, what about 1s and 2s then? We've got so 1 over here is in one of those 2 cells. Ah, this is a classic. Oh yeah, this is a classic knight's move position. Both of those cells see both of those. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, if there was a knight here, a 1 here, it would rule 1 out from both of those cells because of the knight's move constraint. If there was a 1 here, it would also rule out 1 from both of those cells. So those cells cannot contain a 1. You could actually ask, where in row 7 can you put a 1 now? And clearly the answer is here, and therefore that must be a 1. And what that does is also puts a 1 in one of these 2 cells, because those 2 were ruled out effectively. Now, there's almost certainly a 1 on both of those arrows, because otherwise the 1 misses them both. Then they'd both have to be 2, 3 and 4. These 2 cells would both have to be 9. Is that possible? There'd be a 9 here, here, oh, here, and then an X-wing of 9s there, and that is possible. Ah, I thought I'd be able to rule that out. I'm sure the 1s are going to be here, but I can't prove it yet, so we'll come back to that. Now, yes, these positions for 2 again. Oh no, I was going to say they rule out 2 from here, so where does 2 go in the column? But it could still be there, and it could well be on the arrow. It's quite likely to be on the arrow. Again, if the 1s are on the arrows, as I think they are, that is going to put a 2 on the arrow. But I don't know this for sure yet. Ah, 3s though. That's a 3, because we've got that 3-4 pair. What does that do? Not much. Ooh, and we're running out of easy wins here, which is a shame. Ah, where does 3 go in this box? It's quite an interesting question. That 3 sees those 2 cells by knight's move and those by ordinary Sudoku. That's clearly not a 3, and this can't be a 3 because of the arrow. That can't be a 1. So 3 is confined to one of those 2 cells. And that means it's down here in one of these. Yeah, look, where does it go in the central box? Those 3s and that 3 are ruling out all of those. This 3 is ruling out those 2 by the knight's move, so it's definitely on the arrow. So the arrow is not a 7. 1, 3, 4 though is possible, or 2, 3, 5. So these cells are only from 3, 4 and 5. This one sees a 4 by a knight's move. And I still haven't decided it. I haven't ruled out 2, 3, 4. Doesn't really get much done. Oh, okay, what else can we do? That 6 can't be in either of those cells, so 6 in row 3. I don't know, somewhere up here. I'm probably missing something very clear. Oh, this is an interesting one. It can't be 1, 2, 3 or 4, and yet it's on an arrow. So it's clearly 5, 6 or 7. I'm not going to put 8 because that would need a 1 here, which is impossible. So in fact, yes, 1 and 3 are impossible here. And 9's impossible here, so this is definitely a 2. It's the only way this arrow can work. This is 7 or 8. It can't be 9, so that can't be 7. This 6 actually sees all of those cells as well as that one. So 6 is confined up there. Ah! And 6 is confined to those 3 cells, so this can't be 6. This is another classic knight's move position. Those 3 all see this one. 2 of them by knight's moves, 1 by regular Sudoku. So they stop that being a 6 because there's 1, 3 in one of those positions. That's intriguing. Now 4 can't be there. So 4's in one of these spots. Can this be 7? No. Now look at that. Now it can't. It can't because 4 is looking at that cell and so is 1 and 2. If this was 7, this would have to be 1, 4, 2. That would have to be one of the digits and it can't be. That's brilliant. So that's a 9, which doesn't solve anything else. It puts a 9 in one of those 2 cells. Again, 2, 3, 4 remains possible, as does 1 being on both of these. Oh, that's intriguing. Crikey, what next? What are we going to find in this puzzle next? There's so much in it. It's so clever. Can this be a 6, actually? That would put 4 here, 3, 4... Yeah, it can. Can't rule that out. What else can this be? This one is not very constrained, only tiny numbers. 108 can't be in it. So it's 5, 7, 6, 7 or 9. That makes this one 3, 4, 5 or 8. And I can't see why it's not any of those. That's not very helpful at all. And that's the last arrow that I haven't... Well, okay, I could look at this one a bit harder. So this is now 9. We know that. So if it was 2, 3, 4... Ah, yes, the 4... So if it was 2, 3, 4, it would have to go 4, 3, 2, which would put 1 here. But it might have a 1 on it, which is the alternative to being 2, 3, 4. The 1 would have to be here because of where 1s can go in the box to get on the arrow. And then this pair could be 6, 2 or 3, 5, I suppose, in any order, irritatingly. No, and that didn't really get much done, but at least we've got all the candidates marked on the arrows. I don't know, maybe it's been a pointless exercise, but I'd like to get it done if we can. Now, what am I missing? What am I missing? That can't be 4. That's not very interesting. I have 6 or 7 there. Haven't got much done in terms of 5s, 6s and 7s at all in this puzzle. I mean, we did a little bit with 6s here. That does mean 6 can't be in this cell, doesn't it? Yes, if 6 is in one of those 2, they both see that one. So 6 in box 9 must... 6 in column 8 is what I'm saying must be there. So 6 in box 9 must be there. If that was 6, it would rule 6 out of there. If that was 6, it would take it out of there. That's not very helpful. Oh, this one sees 8 and 9 on the knight's move. Ah, it sees 9 on the knight's move, so I should never have marked it as a possible 9. 9 must be there. So that's not 9, and that's... should never have shown 8. I should have put 7 in and taken it out now, so I've done that. Careless pencil marking again. 6, 7 or 8 here. Ah, now 8 can't be in either of those positions. So 8 is in the top row there. And therefore it's down here in column 1. In one of those cells. Oh, and it runs out of information. Interesting though. Yeah, so 6 being there, and that felt like a breakthrough, but I don't think it really was necessarily. That can't be 1, 3, 4, 2, 9 or 8. Again, that's 5, 6 or 7. This one can't be 3, 4, 2, 1, 9, 6. That's 5, 7 or 8. I'm not seeing any pairs and quadruples breaking here. Oh, frustrating. Right, what do we need to concentrate on next? I mean, what a puzzle. A gift that keeps on giving. It's not letting up at all, really, is it? That 3, 4 pair, is that not... Oh, they both see this cell. So that can't be 2, 6, 1, 8, 3 or 4. That's not very helpful either. 5, 7 or 9. Oh, still can't decide on this wretched 8 or 9. So what if 6 was in one of these cells? Doesn't really help much. There's too many possibilities for 6 elsewhere. Okay, what if this was 6? Then you'd have... No, I don't know. That doesn't really get anything done. Oh, what's the right question at this point? I do not know. This is tricky stuff. This 2, so there's a sort of trident of cells there, and those can't be 2, and that's not 2. So 2 in column 6 is in one of those 2 spots. Oh, actually, of course, this is a 1-2 pair, so 2s are definitely distributed in those places. In columns 4 and 6, they must be there. So, oh yes, 2 is clearly in one of these 2 as well, just by regular Sudoku there. But they don't sort out this pair at all. How infuriating. Oh, goodness, where should we turn? Sorry if you can see something that I should be spotting here. This feels very tough to me at this point. Again, well, maybe I now think these are 4, 3, 2s along the 9s, but I don't know. I thought they're either going to both have 1s or both 2s here. Yeah, depending on what that is, that's making both of these 1s or both of them 2s. Does that help as a thought? I can't see how, I must say. Goodness me. Okay, what if this was 8? Then 8 would be here. That's quite well, no, it doesn't change what we know in box 1. Doesn't really change anything. Oh my goodness, sorry about this folks. Let's just keep concentrating and try and get something to break out of this puzzle. I am finding this tough now, as you can see. Oh, that 3-4 pair sees this cell. Now that's a bizarre thing to point out, but it does make it 6, 7 or... Oh, sorry. That makes this one 6, 7 or 8. And that 3-4 pair makes this one 6, 7 or 8. So we have a definite 3-4 pair in column 3. 6 can't be there or there. So 6 in column 3 is down in one of those cells. And that is a very difficult combination for the 6s to maintain. And I'll tell you why. Because a 6 in either of the middle cells there rules it out of the 3 cells it must be in the other column. So 6 cannot be in the middle cells. Therefore, it's a little X-wing of 6s. And the 6 in row 8 now has to be here on the arrow. Goodness me. That's hard to see. Well, it's hard for me to see, but we've got there now. 5 or 7 there. That's not 8, it's 5 or 7. 8 is there, which was what I was just wondering about. Got a 5, 6, 7 triple that doesn't help. That's not 8. Oh, and is that it? Does the whole trail run dry again? 4, 5 and 7 down here. No, that's not fair. I was so pleased with that. But I just don't know whether that's 6 or 7. Does it depend on whether that's... No, that could be 7. Oh my lord. 6 is only in 2 possible positions in row 3. If this was a 6, then this would be a 6 in box 4. This would be the 6 in box 3. That would be the 6 in box 2. This would become the 6 here. And that clash, no, that couldn't be. Oh my goodness, there's nowhere, if this was, so where did I start? Where did I start? I said, if this was the 6, no. Where does this start? This is an impossible arrangement of 6s, but yes, it was in row 3. If this was the 6 in row 3, then that forces this 6, because between that 6 and that 6 they see everywhere else in box 4. It also forces this 6 in box 3, and between the two of them and this 6 that was already placed, they rule out all the possible positions in box 6 for a 6. So that is not the 6 in row 3. Good grief, this is the 6. Please do not peter out again like a useless deduction, although I think it might immediately. We get a 5, 7 pair here. No, that's a lovely deduction because they can both see this cell. That one by a knight's move, that one by regular Sudoku, and they must be different. So that can't be 5 or 7. So we can fill in our next 6. Take it out of there. It's on the arrow. That's a 4. That fixes... Oh my goodness, this was a whole sort of deadly pattern of 3s and 4s, but not deadly because they're on the arrows. Oh, wow. Does that help or does that not help? My Good grief. Please don't tell me that stops again here. 6 sixes. Let's see where we've got sixes. Oh yeah, no, one of those. Oh look, there's a 6 there, so sorry. 6 is placeable in box 6. And now it's in one of those 2 cells. In box 4. Which is not quite as helpful as I wanted it. Now, 4, 5 and 7 to place here in box 6. This still is not giving up. What a puzzle. 4, 2, 6, 3. That is 5 or 7. Oh, they can still both operate together. Ah, no, look, where does 5 go in box 2? In one of those 2 cells. What do they both see? They both see this cell on the arrow. Surely that helps now. 3 there. So this can't be 3. It doesn't resolve whether this is 4-1, 4-2 or 5-1 and whether this is 8 or 9. That's so unfair. I feel like crying. Right, 3 is in one of those 2 positions. It's not here anymore. But we can still go 2, 3, 4 to make the 9, or 1, 6, 2, or 1, 3, 5. Haven't taken any other candidate out. 3 in box 1 is down in one of those 4 cells. That's not very interesting. Still got more to do. This is unbelievable. Every deduction feels like it's a huge step forward, and it's the absolute opposite. Five can't be in those 2 cells because it's placed here. So in the middle row, 5 must be in one of those 3. That's hardly interesting. It keeps 5 out of that cell. Does nothing else. 6 and 3 are in those 2 now. 2 and 1. Still no change in the 1s and 2s. 5, 7 pair in the top row. Sorry. Okay, 6 there. Not 6 there. Let's take out the corner mark because it's annoying me now. 7, 8 pair there. Yes, 6 here. Not there. That stops this 6 because of the knight's move. Okay, so we get these 6s, and now this cannot be a 1, 6, 2. 9 sum. So it's either 1, 3, 5 or 2, 3, 4. So this is definitely a 3 now. Is that right? Is that right? Is there any way this could be a 5? No, that's a 3. That's not a 3. Let's get rid of 3 from those. The 3 in box 4 is not in that cell because both of those can see it. So it's in one of those 2, which I thought was going to help me here, but that's just an old pencil mark that hadn't been removed. Yeah, basically I'm down to those for my last 3s. That's can't be resolved until something else is. Now, how about this 9, 7, 8? 6, 1, 2 is below them. 3's in one of those 2. No, can't see how to use that. The 1, 2 pair here, we've got a little more in the row since I first found that. In the column, I mean. Oh my goodness. I mean, maybe my brain is just fried by this puzzle. That might be the case. 7, 8 pair. I missed that 5, 7 pair working in the top row for a long time, so I could easily be missing something else working hard up here and telling me how to resolve something in the top of the puzzle. That seems to be the most likely place. 4. 4 is just not a helpful number in this at all. Down there very slightly. So how about if this was 4, then that would have to be 4. That would be 4. That would be 4, and that would be 4, and that's fine. If this was 5, ooh, that would be 5. That one, this one. Ooh, that one. There. Don't tell me that works as well. No, it doesn't work because there's nowhere for a 5 in box 7. So this being a 5, I think what that does immediately, yeah, it forces the 5 in box 4 to be there, and it forces, because of that 5, the 5 in box 8 would be there, and between those and the given 5 that we have already, oh no, hang on, am I getting this wrong? 5 there, 5 there, 5 there. Yeah, there's nowhere left. Okay, so, I mean, that's a reasonably complicated chain of circumstance, but it exists, and that makes this a 4, which still doesn't resolve that wretched thing, but it stops 4 being there. We know 4 can't be here, so that's a 4. So this is a 2. That makes this a 1, and this a 2. They are both 2, 3, 4 arrows, giving 9, which at various stages I both was certain of and then totally doubted. Which just shows what these puzzles can do to your mind. 9 in this box is there by regular Sudoku, good old ordinary Sudoku. Then we have an X-wing of 9s here that aren't resolved by knight's moves, irritatingly. 4 is in one of those 2 cells in box 7. No, it's not. It's not there because of the 4 pair down there. So 4 is resolved in box 7. That places it in box 4. Sure. Oh, that could... Oh, yeah, we've only just put that 4 in. Okay, so that's fixed the 4 out over here. That fixes the 4 down here into that cell. All the 4s are done, I think. Yes, that looks right. Oh, let's take out this old colouring. Sorry, I've just been ignoring it myself, but it may have been irritating others. That is 5, 7 or 9. Probably has been for a while, but I'm going to write it in now. I mean, we're still not actually finished here. Got everything on the arrows, I think, completely. 9, 6, 4, 2, 3. So this 1, that is placed. Oh, this isn't 2 anymore. That's very helpful. That gives me the 2 and the 3. That gives me the 3 here. That's not a 3 now. 5 to complete the column. 7 to complete the row. 5 to complete the box. 5 to complete the column. 7 to complete the box. 5 and 7 in box 3. This feels better. 5 there. Ooh, that's not 5, and it suddenly runs out. 7 and 8 to place in column 6. Oh, that's not 5 though, so 5 can be placed. And that gives me a 5 here. And there's one more 5 to do, and it must be here. And that works fine. That gives me the 9, which gives me 9 here. 7 to complete the row. 8 and 7 in box 3. 8 and 7 in box 1. 8 and 7 in box 4. 8. 7. 8. Don't tell me. 7, 8. There we go. Let's hit the tick. My goodness, that's a puzzle, isn't it? What an excellent Arrow Knight Sudoku. Really good fun. Thank you very much to Jovial and to the recommenders. I enjoyed that. Sorry if it was keeping you tense for a while when I was missing some of the slightly obvious things. I hope I wasn't missing anything else that I haven't spotted afterwards too badly, but that struck me as pretty tough. I'd love to hear what you thought of the puzzle if you tried it in the comments. I don't love to hear what you saw me doing wrong, but do let me know. Anyway, great to be with you again, and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.